Hey folks, Brian King. It's been a while since we've talked over video. I made a post a little bit ago saying that I was feeling sillier and been more silly in the past couple of days on my Zoom calls than usual. And I think that is the result of two things. One is I'm making a more conscious effort for probably the past 3, 4 months now to unmask more. Not to the point where I'm an impulsive ball bouncing off the walls and getting in people's faces and being touchy and all that stuff. Unmasking in that I don't pretend to be comfortable with eye contact or having somebody touch me when they're talking so that I can just suck it up and, you know, shake it off later, like, you know what I mean? I'm I'm being more me, not second guessing or thinking, well, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they get offended? Or what if I'm too much? And there is a degree of trial and learning. I don't go all in, I go a little bit more baby steps. And one thing that I'm letting myself do, apparently not as consciously as I thought, is letting my professional hair down, no pun intended, meaning not trying to be the role, of the coach, the mentor, the therapist, whatever. And more so just allowing myself to be human, more human in the moment. And if I feel goofy and silly, I'm gonna go with that. And it seems to be adding so much more of a varied energy to what it is I'm doing. So I'm gonna stick with it. It also feels much more natural to me because when I'm sillier, I also move much more differently. I'm much more stimmy or, flippant or whatever with my gestures. I'm more playful. So it's probably a good way to say it. Playful with my body, the way I move, the way I talk, the way I look around the room, much more curious as opposed to trying to be proper and choose my words as precisely and academically as possible. Well, that's the first thing. And the fact that I remembered that I was counting and that this was part of one topic is amazing because I've been on an opioid for my chronic pain for maybe a year, and I didn't realize how much capacity it sucked away from me. I knew it made me tired, and I suspected that it maybe messed with my memory, but it was detrimental more than I ever imagined. And I won't give you a list, but the capacities that are coming back to me, including a little bit more capacity in my working memory, has just been incredible. My ability to recall things much more quickly, to connect the dots faster, to look more deeply into a problem than previously I was. Something that I would have to spend a couple hours reflecting on or maybe sleep on it, then I would get the answer. Now I've got the answer on the spot. It's holy cow. And I got off the opioid about a week ago, and I just keep feeling more capacities coming back. I tell you this in part to celebrate this win because it's exciting for me because if I can access things much more effectively and my brain doesn't have to work so hard to do it, that means I have more capacity to give to you. I have more capacity for my kids, for myself. My stamina lasts longer. I get more bang for the buck, so to speak. So it's win-win for us both, hopefully. And it also makes me reflect upon what else could I be putting in my body that is sacrificing my executive functions or my capacities to. I know some people respond negatively to caffeine. Some people have a food sensitivity or allergy that maybe they can tolerate the side effect of eating it when they're not supposed to, but they're not self-aware enough, or there's a lot of stuff happening under the hood that they're not aware is a direct consequence of this thing they're not supposed to be eating. One of which is probably inflammation. Because if your body has a sensitivity and basically sets off the alarms for any reason when eating or drinking something that you're better off not doing, inflammation is one of the fundamental responses because it sees it as a threat. Well, what does inflammation do? it affects circulation to everything, including to your brain. And I'm no doctor here, just going off of different articles that I've read over the years and my ability to recall correctly what it is I read. So feel free to do your own fact checking. But in addition to affecting blood flow, I don't know if it affects nutrients, but it can definitely affect your alertness, your attention. It can cause brain fog. That can exacerbate a lot of your executive functions, and all because you wanted something sweet and processed and all full of nothing useful for your body. Speaking from experience here. Now, I've been trying to get clean for maybe 5, 6 months now, and I've lost 15 pounds, and I'm eating healthier than I've been. I'm starting to exercise more. And because of being off the opioid, my hyperactivity is not as contained as it once was. And now, because of my difficulty walking with my various physical disabilities, I can sit here and feel like I'm this pressure cooker building because I can't just get up and walk around or lift weights or something to discharge that anxiety. Or at least I didn't do those things. But what I'm discovering is when I feel like it's building and I'm starting to feel frustrated for no good reason, I know I have to move. So I get up, I stretch, I'll go up and down the stairs once. I'm working with a physical therapist who's given me these great exercises for building my core that don't require weights, just my own body weights and whatnot. So I can use my own body in order to give myself the deep pressure, the proprioception that gets the dopamine moving, helps my nervous system organize for a little while so that I not only calm down quickly, but I'm much more relaxed in the mind. My breathing is deeper. I'm not feeling anxious or fidgety, and I'm able to return to what I was doing, focus, and be creative because I gave my body what it needed in a way that it could get it quickly, as opposed to looking for another red pill or something else that's more likely to give you a heart attack than sustained focus and attention. So what else? Yeah. So one of my final suggestions is if for some reason you need to be sedentary for long periods of time, you work from home, you do a lot of meetings, you haven't figured out how to work breaks in yet, or you're at a job where they make you sit all the time, find ways to get some resistance exercise in. Something that allows you to push or to pull. And when you're sitting on a chair, you can lift yourself up by pushing down with your hands on the chair. You can reach under the chair and pull down. And that just tenses your arms and your hands and your torso. And you get a lot of energy directed into doing that. If depending on what you're sitting on a bench, you can push your feet into the floor. That's something that I used to do in meetings. Or I would take the heels of my hands and push them into my thighs. And just that pressure would help discharge some of that building hyperactive energy. So exercise perhaps is the word of the day. Another word is clarity. All kinds of good things came out of this burst of information, I'm sure. I hope. But I'll make sure that there's a transcript along with this too. So if there are any useful little pearls, you don't have to swim through this collection of stream of consciousness to find it. So I will have that along shortly. I hope this was as good for you as it was playful for me. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. And until next time, thanks for being you.